With OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and I'm coming at you from the 2019 Canada Fruit Festival, and I got the owner, or the coordinator, whatever you want to call him, the guy that makes it all happen. This is Ted Carr. He's one amazing dude. He has his own YouTube channel, all kinds of cool stuff around here to talk about Ted's YouTube channel. We're here to talk about the Canada Fruit Festival, and actually how I was invited to the Fruit Festival, even and invited to bring this thing. You guys know what this is. If you guys are a long-term brewer, you guys know what this is. This is what's called my Brix meter, and this Brix meter got me in trouble and actually got me, my speaking privileges taken away at another fruit festival that's out there in Northern America, right? And you can check out my old videos for that video where I'm testing the quality of the fruit there. They just didn't want to hear it. My video, honestly, for you guys, was in 100% place of trying to make the fruit festival better. And that's what, so I'm glad Ted said, hey John, come with your Brix meter, man, test our stuff, I don't care. And so I did, right? And I made a video last year at this event. I'll post a link down below, check that video out, because I'm not making a whole review video this year, because I did it last year, and basically this year was like last year, although the fruit quality was different. And that's what this video is about. It's about the food quality at these festivals, at this event. And I wanted to get Ted to talk about this and explain, how things are done here. And I'm here to talk to Ted to actually also share with him ideas on how he can improve if you guys are going to have a fruit festival. Also, how maybe you guys should run your fruit festival and source your fruit to make it higher quality if that is of interest to you, or even if you're just a personal person like me or anybody out there, Ted, to get higher quality food, right? I don't do videos to make places look bad, right? I just share the truth with you guys. I don't make up numbers. If I see a number here, that's what I call out to you guys. And that's just what it is, right? And what I'll say before I even go on is this, right? The problem is not the fruit festival's problem about low quality food. It's actually the industrial agriculture complex problem, right? The industrial agriculture complex, if you just go to the store and buy food, most of the food you're going to buy is either good or average, much like the food they may be serving here this year, when I'm going to be testing it for you guys, right? And if you don't pay attention and pick the wrong food, right, then you're going to have low quality food. So like Ted, if you go to the store, the produce store, wherever you go to buy cantaloupes, right? Do you go in the store and just grab any old cantaloupe and just, all right, this is going to be a good cantaloupe, and take it home and, all right, this is a good cantaloupe, I'm just eating it? No, I bet, like me, I freaking go through every freaking cantaloupe in the display to make sure I get the rightest freaking one that I possibly can so I can enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that? 100%. I want you guys to do that too. You guys probably already do that. You guys just don't randomly pick it. I mean, if you're picking up a Butterfinger bar, they're all exactly the same, so it doesn't matter if you get the one from the back, the one underneath, but when you're picking fruit, you want to get the rightest stuff. And in my opinion, when I come to a fruit festival, or when you guys do, especially if you're paying a lot of money, I mean, the Canada Fruit Festival is the most affordable, longest fruit festival per day. I've done the math and compared to other fruit festivals. This is the most affordable one per day that this year is, including all the food. Some fruit festivals are quite expensive. So what that means is when you're paying Ted and you're coming here and the food is included, you're paying him to hopefully source the best food, and hopefully Ted would go out there and, pick every cantaloupe out and make sure that everybody gets the best cantaloupe here. And, that being said, Ted is quite busy. He's running this whole event. It's literally taken him a whole year to make this event go off, and some things just slip by. So Ted, I want to actually ask you on the camera, number one, why did you start the Canada Fruit Festival?
I started the Canada Fruit Fest for a bunch of reasons. Firstly, I guess because I've just been always inspired by festivals. Every time I go to a festival, I leave a better person. When I'm there, I feel like I'm home. I feel like I'm among family. I feel like I'm among new brothers and sisters. I feel like I'm among aunts and uncles. People who aren't part of my family, but actually feel like my family. Like they feel like brothers and sisters. I absolutely love being at festivals. So whether it's a music festival or a fruit festival, I just love festivals in general. I love the vibe. I love the fact that we're all here for the same reason, that's to have a damn good time. It's really, really powerful. We all get together for that reason. And there was no festival on the West Coast here in Canada. And I'm like, I know a great venue.
Or even in the U.S.
Or in the U.S. on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Why doesn't California have a fruit festival?
Right.
What is going on there?
And so Ted doesn't live in California, he lives in Canada, so...
Yeah, so I stepped up and I'm like, let's make a fruit fest. Let's make a festival. And we did. This is the second year in a row now. And it's been fun. every time I come to this, so it's the second year in a row, but every time I go to a fruit fest in general, whether it's my festival or UK Fruit Fest or Woodstock Fruit Fest or Denmark Fruit Fest, it's always a good time. Everyone comes together, eats quality fruit, and then meets up and learns, expresses, and just has a damn good time, creates memories for a lifetime.
I totally agree. I would encourage you guys to come out to events, right? To meet other people, because you feel so alone when you guys are out there watching this in the middle of Nebraska or wherever you happen to live, right? Even in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is where I live, is a big city, but there's barely anybody that eats, a diet like me. I mean, I go to the raw food meetup groups there, but people are still eating like total crap. So anyways, yeah, that's why I love the festivals, and I'm glad you're doing this. And my 100% mission and intention is to always support you, Ted, in what you're doing, because besides just being a cool dude and just being down to earth and living with his heart, he puts on a damn good fruit festival, if I had to say. So that being said, Ted, let's talk about some of the logistics of putting on a fruit festival. Honestly, I don't know if you've counted them, but how many hours do you work to put on this event, literally?
You can't count the hours. It's a 24/7 thing. Texts come in, texts go out, emails come in, emails go out, phone calls come in, phone calls go out every freaking day throughout the year. You can't count the hours. It's like, how many hours a day do you spend thinking about food? It's like, it comes and goes. It's all the fucking time. It's kind of like, if you're hungry. It's like, you just can't count the hours. But it's like every day there's some steps that you can make. And I have this massive to-do list. I made it last year. It's called like 100 things to do for the Canada Fruit Fest. And it's just like, book the porta potties, book the venue, call John Kohler, get the t-shirts printed, make this promo video, send this email. So it's well over 1,000 things. I just put the top 100 things I need to make sure I get done. And one of the things is order the produce, get that done on time, place the produce orders from various sources. So you might think, oh, Canada Fruit Fest, they get their food from blank, but it's like we get our food sourced from 6 or 7 different sources. Right,
so the whole thing is, I wanted to say that planning a fruit festival takes a lot of time and energy, and Ted tries to make sure everything's going to be good, but he can't check every possible cantaloupe to make sure he's going to get the best ones. And like last year, the fruit was excellent quality. I was quite happy with the fruit last year, and this year in this video we're going to find out what people thought about it, like some of the people that came here. And I will say that next year is going to be my 25th year of actually eating raw fruits and vegetables. And for me on my journey where I'm at, I've been on a constant CANI process, constant and never-ending improvement on my journey. And this stuff, and honestly, when I first learned about Brix, it was like maybe, 15 years ago, I learned about it. I'm like, oh, I don't need to know that. That's not that useful to me. But now it's super important, because what people don't understand is that the higher the Brix, it correlates with the mineral content, which could be double. The protein content could be double on just even a 2-degree higher Brix fruit. What does that mean? Well, that means that on the same given peach, right, if it's higher Brix, then you could eat actually half the quantity of peaches to get the same exact minerals. If there's half as much minerals in a low quality peach than a high quality peach, you could get half as much protein in a low quality peach than a high quality peach. What does that mean? That means you could meet your nutrient needs by eating literally half the amount of calories, which means your body has more time to heal, recover, fuel, and just work better, work properly. And also, especially if you're into longevity, which at this point in my life might not be so important to Ted now, because I've been doing this for a while, right? I want to have the maximum lifespan as possible and the healthiest, longest lifespan as possible. And the only thing that's been proven to extend life is calorie restriction while you're getting nutrient sufficiency and making sure you're getting all your nutrients. So that's why something like the Brix is so important. A lot of people that are new here, if people come here, just eat fruits and vegetables, even if the food isn't the best quality, right? That's better than basically McDonald's, better than anything else people could do here, because you guys serve pretty much, the goal is to serve all organic food. Sometimes that's not possible, not available, things are out of season. So solidly here you had the overwhelming majority of the food, like 90+% was organic from what I was seeing. Well, what would you say? Yeah, so perfect. So yeah, and then he has to delegate process. He has to delegate things. He has to delegate registration for somebody to handle that. He has to delegate the kitchen, for somebody to handle that. And sometimes they can't check every box of produce before it comes in to make sure it's high quality. Plus, I know you got some donations of produce too. So literally, you didn't even spend money for some of the produce. And when somebody's giving you something for free, you can't be a jackass like I might and complain about the quality. So, so I understand it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy. So, Ted, what is the process for sourcing your fruit here at the fruit festival specifically? Like, how did it all work? How did you end up with the fruit that we had here?
Yeah, so there's a organic warehouse distributor in Vancouver called Discovery Organics, and they hook us up with all of the big bulk orders for, like, the majority of the festival, the lettuce, the avocados, the bananas, the green onion, the whatever, most of the produce that you go to a grocery store and purchase, we got it from Discovery Organics. They shipped it here, they delivered it. That was really nice of them. And we just ordered right from their warehouse catalog. So that was it. We didn't go in and taste test anything before. I've ordered from them before. It's the stuff that you find in superstores, it's the stuff you find in Save-On or Safeway. It's like where all the main grocery stores get it from. They get it from Discovery Organics. So we said, okay, it's good enough for them. It's where everyone in Vancouver is eating. We'll get it from there as well. And we got apples, everything from them. Then when it came to specific local stuff, things like the peaches, things like the nectarines, things like the cherries, things like the cantaloupe and the watermelons, we got those from local farmers here. And so we sourced out different farms, like things like tomatoes and cucumbers, right? We sourced them out locally here in the Okanagan. So
how did you figure out what farmer you went to buy the certain produce?
Cool. So there's you did the tour at Painters.
Right.
And Painters is like one of the most well-known fruit markets here in the Okanagan. Really, really nice. I think John's going to do it. Did you do a video of that tour?
Yeah, I did a tour last year, not this year. I'll put a link down below if you want to see Painters and when I go around and tour and I talk about some of the practices they do that's really cool and all this kind of stuff. And actually we test the fruit quality of fresh drop fruit, which is truly ripe, because when companies, farms, whoever has to pick fruit and ship it, if they pick it super ripe, it's going to spoil within a day. And actually you guys had to do a lot of fruit sorting here. So they want to pick a little bit more unripe so that it may ripen in transit, but then it's not going to be as high at Brix.
Yes, so we went to Painters because it's my favorite place to go for fruit here. Every time I go there, I buy fruit. I love it. I'm like, it's just so damn good. And every time I buy fruit at a store, whether it's tomatoes or grapes or whatever, I always taste test in the store and I think, is it good enough? Yeah, this is really good. I'll go buy it. And so every time I go to Painters, I eat a tomato or eat some cherries or whatever. I'm like, this is freaking good. I'll get it. Blueberries for sure. Painters are amazing. And so I'm like, okay, where does Painters get their fruit from? And so I just asked Janae, I'm like, hey Janae, where do you get your peaches? Where do you get your melons? And she said, go to this guy, go to this girl. So she hooks me up with her supplier, because I originally just went to Painters and said, hey, can I buy all your stuff? And she's like, well, I'll just give you my supplier. She's like, we deal with like one-on-one, we don't want to deal with a big fruit fest. So she hooked me up with her supplier, super nice of her. And so we just go to her supplier. And then for the little stuff like some tomatoes, cucumbers, we just get it right from Painters directly. But that's pretty much how it's done.
All right, cool.
And then we choose the same suppliers this year as we used last year. So all the same fruit from last year, suppliers, we didn't change our suppliers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's
interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. So here's the thing too, like, unlike Butterfingers bars that are always the same, like this year, next year, 10 years from now, unless they change the recipe, fruit varies every single year. Why? Because the weather changes every year. Maybe the fertilizer program they're using on the farm is different. If the weather changes and things are too hot, too cold, you get a frost early, you get a frost late, that could mess up the quality of the fruit. Yeah. Maybe things are off by a week this year and they're picking a little bit late or a little bit early. Maybe last year they picked it early, it was riper, because actually last year I was actually quite happy with the fruit quality, and this year, it was still good, but something to be left to be desired, for me. So that these are variables that Ted can't necessarily control when he's using the same growers, and saving time to just source trusted sources that he has bought from the past. He trusted them and they've been good, and maybe the next time they may not be good, and it's totally different every single time. So these are some of the challenges that he works with to make sure he has good fruit here. So I think that's everything that you're saying is totally within reason, and you would expect that if you used farms last year they were good, they'd be good this year. Mm-hmm. And that may or may not be happening.
Yeah, so what's interesting is last year we did the exact same dates, like August 9th to 12th or whatever, and there was no nectarines out of season. But cherries were peak season. I know you were loving the cherries.
I know, I was loving the cherries. All you need just feed me organic cherries, I'm good.
I was thinking, hey, this year do the same thing. Let's get a ton of cherries and no nectarines. Meanwhile, we got tons of nectarines and no cherries. Well, hardly any cherries.
Yeah, hardly any cherries.
Very end of season cherries, but tons of nectarines. So, same dates, just the season was drastically different, and that's going to happen. Especially here in BC. Maybe it's more consistent in California, I don't know, but places like BC, it seems to change year to year.
Right, yeah, and I will say that I tested the cherries on my Brix meter this year, and they're off the charts above and exceeded excellent rating, even though the cherries were, late this year or whatever. The nectarines from my testing were solid, definitely the nectarines, definitely better than the peaches. And you're gonna hear from some of the attendees if they actually like the fruits, And that's another thing I want to talk to you about, Ted, is that, perception of fruit quality, we were over there, I'll tell them what happened. We were over there, you were tasting this peach. John, this is a good peach, and we tested it, and it didn't test maybe quite as high as you thought it would test.
And then immediately I was like, oh, it's actually not that good. As soon as I found
In the reference range.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it on paper, I was like, oh, it's only a 10. It should be like a 15. I'm like, oh, it's actually not that good. And I was eating, I was like, yeah, it's fucking good.
And the whole thing is this, right? If you ever had fruit that's super good, you're gonna be a fruit snob, and you've been doing it for nearly 25 years. Next year will be 25 years for me. I've run a lot of fruit through my body, and a lot of different farms and freaking farmers markets, and picking stuff off my own trees, and I know what's really good or not. And I will say I'm a fruit snob. I know one guy, Stefan, who lives in Maui, who will basically cut down his fruit trees, that he has 10 acres of the highest quality fruit trees. If he doesn't like one, he'll cut it down and he'll replace it with something else that's even better. And I'll go to his farm, he's like, yeah, John, go pick all the rambutans you want. I'm gonna cut down that tree after this season. They suck. I go over there, I eat it. Like, oh my God, this thing is so good. So he's even a bigger snob than me. So, take that with a grain of salt. But the other thing is, I think that especially if you're going to a fruit festival and it's called a fruit festival and you're including food, you should at least give the proper care and do the best you can to source the highest quality fruit. So would you think that you did that, Ted, reasonably?
Yeah, so this year when the melons arrived, first thing I did was take a melon out and cut it in half, ate the cantaloupe.
Oh, cool, to make sure they were good before you rejected them.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. So I opened a cantaloupe, I'm like, whoa, it's glowing. I took a lot of footage.
But did you Brix
it? Didn't Brix it, but I recorded everyone's reaction as they're eating it, and everyone's mind was just this cantaloupe is fucking insane. So good, pardon my French. It was just so good. And cut up the next one, so good, cut up the next one, so good. This is day one they got delivered. And then the next day I'm like, fuck, they're pretty ripe. Hopefully they don't get overripe, So we put them in the freezer, or the fridge, and next day I eat some, now some of them they're not as peak ripeness.
Yeah, the fridge will change the flavor, for
so
sure.
I was like, damn, they're just not as good as they were yesterday. They're still good, but not as good. But regardless, I enjoyed the melons on day one. I love the watermelon, the cantaloupe, and then I was asking some people at the festival here, what has been your favorite fruit? And they're for sure the melons. So I'm like, oh, they like the melons, so that's cool. So as far as melons go, yeah, for sure. I did the due diligence there. And then with the peaches, I sent drivers to go pick up 2 different sources of peaches. One of the sources was from Nature's First Fruits. Shout out Nature's First Fruits for the free peaches. They hooked us up with 2,000 pounds of peaches.
Wow.
And some nectarines as well, for free. Absolutely amazing, thank you so much. Before we picked them all up though, I sent drivers to go pick up a sample pack. Go get 100 pounds from them.
Oh, you did?
Yep, and go get 100 pounds from Ann. Ann's our #1 peach supply, primo peaches, a bit bigger ones. Big, juicy, perfect peaches. And those cost us quite a bit, because they're really, really good. And so we bought 100 pounds from the #2s, or got 100 pounds of #2s free, bought 100 pounds from Ann, brought them back, tasted them, and most were fucking amazing, because they're #1s, primo, just dripping, super good. And the #2s were well, they're not as amazing, they're still really, really good for #2s, they just don't look that great. A bit more mealy, less juicy, but perfect for sauces, perfect for dips and dressings and things like that. When you do peach tahini or something. So we said, okay, well let's use the #2s for all the sauces, and we put the #1s for eating. And then we ran out of #1s, and so because we had so many #2s left, we said, well, they're decent enough for eating, we'll put them out as well. And that may have been the one that you grabbed and tested.
Yeah, right. Well, I've tested a few over the whole festival here, Ted. So I guess the next thing I want to talk about real quick is you've actually invited me to test your fruit with your Brix meter. Why would you do that when John's the guy that makes the videos about the bad fruit, man? Why would you even want me here?
Yeah, I want objectivity. I want that objectivity. And the last few you ride, again, I got footage of it on my phone here. You ride at my cabin. First thing I do when we get out of the car, I'm like, dude, grab your Brix, let's test this shit. What do? We grab Brix, we tested a cherry or something, and you're like, yeah, it's pretty good. You're very tired or whatever. I was like, awesome. So that's why we bring John. And if the shit sucks, I want to know.
Yeah, so he can make it better. That's the whole thing. He's not gonna ban me unless I do get banned, but he's not gonna ban me because I'm oh, the fruit's bad. Because you know what? Because I'm showing up in a video with him, I'm talking to him, I'm making a video for you guys, so how to improve the fruit quality. So Ted, I'd like to give you some suggestions because I've been eating diet for, you know, a fair bit longer than you. How long have you been doing it now?
Decade.
A decade, so 10 years, and I've been doing it like nearly 25 years now. So, you know, just
quarter century.
Yeah, almost a quarter century. So, yeah, so some tips. Number one, you know, our taste buds can lie. Brix meters don't lie. And you heat a moment, you're actually hungry, you're just salivating because you haven't eaten all day, you eat the peach. Oh, this peach is so good, it's juicy, it's dripping wet, right? I mean, I was in here later in this video, see actually Chris Kendall is the human Brix meter, and somebody doing this for a long time who's run a lot of fruit through their bodies. I mean, we could throw away our Brix meters. We don't need to know that it's a Brix meter because he's like, oh, this cantaloupe that I'm eating is like a little bit above average. And, you know, sure enough, I tested and it is above average, and you'll see that. And so if you've been doing this long enough, eat enough fruit, and, you know, everybody's at a different point, everybody has a different reference range, right? You're gonna know, but, you know, I would say invest in a Brix meter. I'll be even glad to buy you one. They're like 20 bucks. So before you reject fruit or accept fruit next year, test it and make sure it meets minimum quality standards, right? I mean, there's poor, average, good, excellent according to this chart. Not to say that just because you get something that's average or good, which is what most fruit you're gonna buy at the store or at the produce terminal or wherever, even when I shop, you know, most food is in the good or average if you're just accepting things and ordering it off the sheet. You know, when I go to the produce terminal, I don't just say I want a case of mangoes. I freaking don't buy any mangoes unless I personally inspect them, sometimes even ship ones around and pick the ripest ones that are soft, nice color, so that I'm gonna ensure I get the best fruit that's gonna be higher Brix because it's just riper. Like if you go to pick a cantaloupe or melon at the store, you're paying your money for it. You're gonna pick the best one that they have on the display. If I'm buying jackfruit in the Asian markets, right, a lot of them are picked way too early. I'll go through the whole freaking display and pick up every jackfruit. That's why I got muscles, because I don't work out, because I pick up every freaking 20 pound, 30 pound jackfruit, shift them around, moving one to get the other one, and the freaking people at the working at the store get pissed at me. I always try to put them back like I left them, but then they don't like me digging through all of them. They don't understand that, I mean, fruit is my life. I mean, literally, it's my life. And I just to make sure I get the best one, right? And so just by using a tester, which is, you know, there's subjective and objective, right? Brix tester is objective, people's taste buds are subjective. So next year, by just simply doing the first step, you did a good first step this year by taste testing and improving it. But if you had this, you could be a little more objective and say, you know what, here at the Canada Fruit Festival, we're gonna make a standard that if it's below average or below good or whatever you wanna say, if it's 2 points below good or whatever, if it's poor, we're totally rejecting it. If it's average or even a point within average, we're gonna, I mean, that's up to you to decide. But at least have some kind of standard.
Ideally, we go for excellent. Let's get excellent.
So ideally we would have excellent, but then you might not be eating anything. So definitely this trip, actually, cucumbers, excellent. Oh my God, the cucumbers were the freaking best here. I mean, better than...
He says that, but when I eat the cucumbers, I'm like, the skin wasn't so good. I like the skin, I like killing them. So the skin's a bit bitter. Yeah, the skin was a little bitter, but it depends what you like, you know? I mean, yeah. Some people like that.
But the bitter skin is part of the process. And once again, that's perception. Ted didn't like the cucumbers. He didn't think they were that good. I tested them with my Brix meter, but I don't need my Brix meter. I taste tested them before I even tested them with my Brix meter. I'm like, wow, these are actually good cucumbers because I grow cucumbers in my garden. I buy plenty of cucumbers. Actually, last round in the LA wholesale produce, I got organic cucumbers for like 28 pieces a case for like, I don't know, $6, $7.
Yeah.
But those were not very good cucumbers. Those are juice quality. Like, stuff is not good for me to eat. I'm a juicy because at least I want to get the water content, which is one of the most, the nutrients are also important, but the water content is so important, especially living in an arid climate that is literally dehydrating. I'd much rather drink cucumber juice than drink filtered tap water, distilled tap water, right? So yeah, I mean, that, once again, subjective versus objective. Ted really didn't like the cucumbers. I love them. Oh my God, they're such good cucumbers. You're gonna come here for the cucumbers, man. Not joking. And the cherries, above excellent. The mangoes, oh my God, the mangoes, which you'll see in a little bit, I tested. The mangoes were like above excellent. I mean, mangoes on here, excellent mangoes are 14. I think the mango I tested was like 20 or something.
Very good.
Above excellent. Unfortunately, they didn't have enough mangoes to feed everybody, like food of mangoes, so they basically used it in the dressing. So they had kick-ass dressings every night with like mangoes, tahini, and some blueberries in there, nuts and seeds and other stuff. Yeah. Like, oh, hemp seeds. Yeah, that's really cool. They were whole hemp seeds, not the stupid shelled ones. Yeah. Like the whole ones in the husk, because they're legal here in Canada. So that's amazing.
Take one of those seeds, put it in the ground. Whole hemp plant.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That's awesome. And also too, on my way here to the fruit festival, they were not served here. I was able to stop at a farm and I added cannabis leaves to my salad every day because that's another amazing food that I have
That was
access
good.
to here. Yeah, you tried some.
First time I ever loved that.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I
man.
want that.
And you can just add that to your salads. I mean, as a resident of Canada living here, I guess under the law now because it's legalized, you can grow 4 plants.
That's
You can grow your own 4
That's
plants.
so sick.
And they could be male, female, CBD dominant, THC dominant. You can just pick leaves and eat them. You can grow them inside year round, man. I would be really envious of you actually to eat cannabis every single day, and you won't get high from eating cannabis leaves. Although if you juice them with coconut, you will get high. I have a video on that, how I got high for 10 hours on raw cannabis leaves. I'm not into the psychoactive effects. Maybe you are, I don't really know.
No.
And it's up to you guys to decide if you want to do that. But I think this plant should be legal for everybody. You know, I've been having fun with eating the cannabis every day, getting new taste and flavor sensations, and more importantly, phytonutrients. I should have Brix tested them too. But yeah, so
can you Brix test celery?
yeah, so I did Brix test the celery here, and unfortunately your celery did not test out so good, as you guys will see in a little bit.
Crazy, because it's the best celery I've ever had. It was so good.
Yeah, so once again, subjective versus
I only eat
objective.
celery unless it's really fucking good. And like this celery was so good. It was
Like you
juicy,
didn't like your cucumbers, and I love
juicy,
them.
salty, crunchy, fresh. It was so good. I was eating so much celery. But it didn't test out that well.
It didn't test out that well, so
Super
once
strange.
again, subjective versus objective. And once again, Ted, I mean, I don't really blame the Fruit Festival for this for the most part because it's the food system. The food system is basically set up to basically grow organic or grow conventional. If it's organic, usually it means hopefully it's more nutrition, but basically the whole food system is set up to basically grow for profit, not for nutrition, right? And that's a big problem I have. I don't have a problem with necessarily Fruit Festival fruit because they're just consumers of industry food for the most part when they can't go to 15 farms and freaking check every farm and we're buying from this farm and we're going to drive to this farm and this farm, and Ted's doing so much things already to make this festival happen. You know, that is not as much of a priority for him. Now, another tip actually I want to give you, Ted, and if I was to run a fruit festival, this is how I would do it personally, which, you know, once again, there's always ideal, optimal, and what's realistic. Like, is it realistic to have labor to go out and do what I'm going to share with you guys? So I know in, you know, Vernon, there's a farmer's market on Thursday, and in Kelowna, there's a Wednesday farmer's market. This event starts on Friday. So I personally would go to the Kelowna farmer's market and see all the farmers there and go around to every booth and test with my Brix meter, because once again, objective.
Like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out?
No, just like I would go the day before.
Day before the festival.
The day before, 2 days before the festival, right?
So not have food here yet.
We'll have source some things that you just know you can't get locally.
Right, so
have
you go to the farmer's market
here.
2 days before the festival.
I mean, when I go to eat for my diet, I don't buy my food in advance. I go to the farmer's market and I buy for the next week until the next farmer's market, right? So I would go to the farmer's market, test all the growers. I have a video actually testing the farmer's market here and testing all the cherries from last year when I went with Felix actually, and he held my camera. He filmed like really awesome camera work on that one, and I tested. You know, in Vernon, all the different cherry growers. So that year I knew the best stuff. And this morning I woke up. I didn't come here directly. I went to the Vernon Farmers Market to taste test a few things, but I don't like to eat too early. But I taste tested the organic cherries that they had still here in season local. And you know, the organic cherries, even though they're organic, they didn't test high. They didn't test high for my mouth this year, and they didn't test high for my Brix meter this year. So even though organic doesn't mean they're necessarily better, and actually you weren't able to get source organic cherries here, so you had conventional ones that were exceedingly high. So, you know, just because it's organic or conventional doesn't mean the Brix is going to be higher or lower if it's organic or not.
And the cherries that we got, even though exceedingly high, I didn't even really like them that much.
Wow.
I like the cherries last year way better.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, I guess this is also very subjective, right? Very subjective. And it's like, what do you really do? So anyways, I would just source my food like I would source the food for the festival like I source my food. You know, when I source my food, I often sometimes go to the farmer's market at the end, right? Why do we go at the end of the farmer's market? Because the farmers don't want to take home their fruit, right? So I go to the Kelowna farmer's market Wednesday at the end, find the best stuff, and then go to the guy at the end that has the best stuff that wasn't sprayed. I wouldn't worry so much if it's organic or not, as long as it's not sprayed and it's high quality, it's going to taste good for people, and you're not going to give them pesticide residues. I mean, I'm good with that. Maybe some other people want to see organic, but if you explain to them, hey, this stuff is better than the organic stuff because we tested all the stuff at the farmer's market. So you go at the end and they're trying to like just not take the stuff home because it's going to spoil, it's going to go bad. But hey, you have a big event with 200 people showing up in 2 days. So then you go at the end at the farmer's market, you just like know the best stuff. You go to the guy, hey, you're taking home how many cases of cherries? give me the best deal if I buy all of them, because you know his price. You could try to negotiate them down, whatever you use your negotiation skills, get them for the lowest price possible, but it's the highest quality possible because you personally tested every one of the farmers markets, so you don't have to drive to each farm. You just went to the farmers market, got the best, and then go around to the peach guy that tests all the peaches and know who has the best peach. At the end of the market, go to the peach guy. Hey, you got seconds, you got these ones you're taking home. I'd love to buy them from you if you give me a good deal, right? And yeah, they may cost more.
Just the Vernon Farmers Market, but also a Kelowna Farmers Market.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Wednesday you go to Kelowna, and then Thursday, if you didn't get enough stuff, go to the Vernon, and then do the same thing there, because there'll be a little bit different growers there, and then that makes it easy for you. So you just have basically 2 stops, 2 days at the end for maybe the last hour or so, and then you can load up on, if you're not getting donations or anything. And then, I mean, I guess if you don't get it there, then you're kind of screwed, because then you better have a backup plan to source fruit, because otherwise you can't just, oh, I need fruit tomorrow. It's not going to happen. So this could put you in a predicament, but also, so what I would actually recommend is order a portion now to have some just in case, and then go there to source a bunch, and definitely at least put out the best stuff early and the later stuff late, so at least when somebody eat peaches for the first time when they get here, it's like the amazing stuff. And then if you run out of the good stuff, then you have some backup stuff to put out. I mean, and I think that's a good balance. I mean, just thinking about this, and that's literally how I source my food. I go to the farmer's market every week. I find the best stuff. I buy from that dude. I eat it for the week, and then the next week I go back to the farmer's market again, go back to the farm again, and buy the best stuff I could get again. Absolutely. And make choices on Brix, because it's once again objective, especially when people can be subjective. But then I guess there's a level of subjectiveness as well. And I mean, if people eat the fruit here and they love it, even though it's low Brix, I guess it doesn't really matter. Unless you're John Kohler, it doesn't really matter. But the reason why it's so important to me is, once again, I talked about it a little bit earlier, is the increase in mineral content. And foods are mineral deficient these days. Is the answer to take barley grass powder when you have mineral deficient food, or is the answer to eat more minerally dense fruits and vegetables? And my opinion is it's better to have more minerally dense foods, and you can eat half the amount of food. And it's also more enjoyable. You're going to eat more fruits if it tastes better than if it doesn't taste so good. Do you have anything to add to it?
But yeah, so with the, just to mention, do you add the barley grass powder or any green powder? So
absolutely. So I eat greens out of my garden that I grow personally, which are, really high quality greens. My greens don't always Brix out to be excellent either, Sometimes I have a bad bed, or if I'm working with a bed, and basically a Brix meter gives me an indicator, much like I'm an indicator when I come here if the food's good, because I'm going to test it and I'm going to make a video maybe. And but then I could learn, like, hey, it's a problem. This bed is not performing. It's not producing good greens. So I'm going to add things to the soil and make my greens quality better, bring up the nutrition levels, bring up the Brix, add trace minerals. I also personally do take supplements, so I take green powder supplements, I take enzymes, I take fruit powder, so I have freeze-dried pomegranate powder, chokeberry powder, aronia berry powder, pomegranate powder. I mean, I get crazy with the powders. Like, on my diet all these powdered foods? No, my diet are fresh fruits, and when I make like a berry smoothie, I'll use goji berries out of my backyard like I did earlier. I picked a whole bunch of goji berries. I put them in a smoothie with really delicious mangoes, actually, that I got at the produce terminal, with some fresh pressed sugarcane juice with lime in there. And then I put a bunch of berry powders just to supplement it to get it a lot more nutrient dense, to add nutrients that I may not be getting from my regular stuff, because berry powders are taking berries, and in some cases they're juicing them, and then they're freeze drying them or dehydrating them at a low temperature to store all the antioxidants. Now, yeah, the problem with those berry powders are they're freaking expensive. Yeah. Some of the bags I buy are like £1 are like $50 US.
Holy.
And that ain't a joke.
$50 a pound.
Right, but how long does a bag of berry powder last? Man, it might last me like a couple months, because I don't just dump the whole thing in. I put in, a couple I just dump stuff in. I don't measure anything. Yeah. And then, amortize over the time, and the other thing is my health. How much is your health worth? Is your health worth buying? I mean, I get the cheapest produce terminal that's the best quality, so I save money there. Yeah, I spend a little more money on the berry powders, but that's because I believe they're going to be helpful. Some people may not believe in berry powders or green powders, and once again, for me, I like to have as much diversity as possible, even, sourcing local cannabis leaves before I came here to eat those, because I knew I'd be able to get them here, and I can't get cannabis leaves where I live. Right? So, I mean, I'm a little bit extreme. I'm not going to deny that fact. I have a Brix meter. Nobody else has a Brix meter. I try to teach people about this. But once again, this is I'm going on my 25th year next year, eating plant-based raw food diet. And all along my whole journey, I've been trying to strive to improve what I'm doing and strive to improve the nutrient quality all along, making it more fun for me. I make it a game, so this is not work to me. You know, I have a vacuum blender. Maybe actually that'd be another thing you could implement next year to increase the quality of the blends, of the flavor of the food when you blend the food that you're getting, is by vacuum blending, and that's very simple. So I mean, so many different tweaks, and Ted can't do all these things because freaking he'd go nuts because he openly says it at the events. If you have any suggestions for me, come up to me and let me know. And so many people probably came up to you, like, what were some of the suggestions you got this year?
Some of the suggestions this year were to have iridology classes next year. Some of the suggestions were to have Dr. Sam do the breath work every single day. Some of the suggestions were to ban John Kohler. Some of the suggestions were to just offer more tarps to the people in tents in case of rains. You know, have bigger signs out on the road. You know, so we take every bit of feedback. The reason this year's festival, I think, was so much better than last year's, I don't know if you agree, as far as like organization goes, was because we just took so much feedback from last year and applied it to this year. This year ran so much smoother. We got so much more great feedback this year. And tomorrow, next day, we're going to send out a big email to everyone to ask all the attendees, hey, what did you like, what you didn't really like, what would you like to see better next year? And we're going to take all that information, comb through it, pick through it, and then make sure we apply it to 2020. So
yeah, I mean,
you improve year after year. You take advice from people, you take advice from the customers.
Yeah, so I mean, I totally appreciate that this is what TED is all about, and that's why the Canada Fruit Festival is going to be the best fruit festival in North America, because other festivals, in my opinion, haven't taken suggestions and don't strive to improve, even if some things aren't always the best, right? I definitely agree organizationally. This year went on without a hitch, right? Without a hitch. Yeah, could the fruit quality be better this year than last year? In my opinion, yes, but we will hear from some of the attendees of this event to find out if they like the fruit or not in just a minute, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so Ted's really open to these things, and he gets hundreds of different people giving him suggestions. He's going to send out feedback forms, get even more suggestions, and it's impossible to implement every single change because it just adds extra work to his 1,000 things he has to do, right? So he has to pick and choose what's going to be the best thing and best value to people. You know, and if more people say we need to improve the fruit quality, then maybe he might look at it more. Yeah. John Kohler just saying it. Yeah, John's a freaking crazy 25-year dude that's freaking trying to do all this stuff optimally and like whatever.
Yeah. Well, one thing the attendees have said. So last year, one of our biggest complaints last year was not about food quality. It was about not enough variety. And someone told me, I won't name names, but someone told me, hey Ted, like when you have your first fruit fest, because I asked for advice, hey, what would you do for your first fruit fest? They said just keep the fruit super simple. So last year we didn't have that much variety of fruit. We had really good fruit, but not much variety. Biggest complaint, not enough variety. This year we doubled the variety. We had twice as much different fruits and vegetables out. People still saying not enough variety.
Wow. So
next year what we're going to do is we're going to have way more variety because we're going to be bringing in vendors. We're going to bring a juice truck, a smoothie truck, salad booth, raw gourmet, desserts, banana ice cream booths, and then as well have our farmers market.
Well, so actually let's talk about that because people don't really know what's going on with that. So, you know, unlike this year at the Canada Fruit Festival, which the food is included in your price you're paying, so, you know, when you're paying Ted to source your food and buy your food and provide you with food when you're here, like unlimited all you can eat, you know, and you're paying your hard-earned money. In some fruit festivals, it's actually quite expensive per day to do that. I could eat a lot cheaper on my own and eat a lot higher quality. You know, that's maybe my objection if somebody's paying for the fruit quality and it's included with the price. But next year, you're changing all that to actually, in my opinion, make it better. And I'm not really going to be so concerned about the fruit quality when the fruit actually will not be included. You're like, wait a second, Ted's not going to include the food with the price of the admission. What's up with that? So tell everybody what's up with that, Ted.
So we sliced the price of the ticket in half. The average price this year was $500. Right now, tickets on sale for $250. So ticket price is in half, and if people want to buy food at the event, we're going to have, like I said, juice trucks, smoothie trucks, salad bars, raw gourmet bars, farmer's market style. You buy a box of cherries, buy a box of tomatoes, just like you would at any other farmer's market. So people can buy and pick and choose from their own. We'll have many different suppliers, many different sources for that. And I think it'll give people way more variety than what we could provide in this little kitchen right here. It's a very, very small kitchen. We did our best to give people tons of variety. Like I said, we had twice as much variety as last year, but it's still not enough to satisfy everyone's different desires. And it's like, by having different vendors, you're not just getting different quality foods or different source foods, but you're also getting different ingredients, but you're also getting different styles. Like, we can't make juice in this kitchen for everyone. We can't make smoothies, individual smoothies for everyone. We don't have these little vacuum blenders for everyone. We have 250, 300 people serve, you know? So next year, you know, we're gonna have a vacuum blender in here, making big vats of sauces or whatever, then serving it up to people. But if you go to the smoothie bar, you know, the smoothie stall, they might have a vacuum blender. That's possible. We can buy a vacuum blender, give that to them, and then they can make the smoothies in a vacuum blender. So it's made per order, you know. Just what you want. Add some berry powder in there, add this and that, add some spirulina, whatever you want, some daily green boost. You can customize your order. There's so much more variety because other vendors, other companies will be making the food for you. Get your lasagna bowl made, your raw vegan pasta made for you. So it'll still be a raw vegan fruit-based festival, but we'll be incorporating way more sources, way more food options for you.
I kind of like that a lot, actually, personally, because it takes a lot of responsibility of sourcing food, having extra food, having the food go bad, having people to deal with the food, to, you know, shifting it to somebody else so that you can focus on really having the best event possible. I guess the one thing I would say, Ted, is, you know, when you source people to sell here, make sure you Brix test the food. You like, if the farmer wants to come, like, you know what? I'm not going to allow you to sell anything unless it's actually at least this Brix. And maybe if the farmer doesn't have good quality stuff, like, you can't sell it our thing. I mean, but you have to have a point where, like, you know, you don't reject everybody because they don't have the best stuff. But, you know, I think providing a variety to people and giving people a choice. And, you know, I guess I like this idea. I did hear some people complaining about it. Like, I just want to go to the fruit festival and not have to worry about the food. And I want to make sure there's enough food. So, you know, I mean, I was just at the San Diego Fruit Festival, and probably the biggest complaint I have about that is, you know, they were supposed to have vendors there to sell food, and they couldn't get vendors because, you know, unlike your event, you know, their event was on a weekend. It's in San Diego, and farmers have farmers markets there, and they make $1,000 at a farmers market, and they don't want to come to some small fruit festival and just sell stuff. But, you know, here in the Okinawan, there's so many different farmers that actually have extra food that want to sell it. I mean, I was at the farmers market this morning, and there's so many people there just twiddling their thumbs because there's not enough people at the market. So I think this is a great venue to get in people, but make sure you vet or check the farmers out to make sure they're going to bring in the top quality stuff for the visitors here, because that's what we're all going to be hopefully expecting. And it's simple as you as buying a Brix meter. I'll be glad to give you one once again, so that you could check the farmers and make sure they have good quality on the list, you know, stuff, you know, objectively. So I think that's a great idea. And here's the thing, like, he dropped the price by half, so that's basically $250 Canadian. Can you eat at a fruit festival for $250 Canadian for 3 days? I mean, how much is that per day? 75 bucks or something? Yeah. I mean, whatever. It's like, that's a lot of money. You should be able to actually, it's going to be cheaper for you guys to come to this event when you're buying your own food. I mean, I don't think it should cost more than 50 bucks a day to, like, eat really good here. So that's, you know, and you're still going to save money, and then also this is going to free up tent to make even a better event.
Yeah, I mean, we sold like big boxes of dates today for like 20 bucks. Like one of those boxes of dates for 20 bucks would fill you up for the whole day.
Yeah.
You know? It's like 50 bucks is like, yeah, that's if you get like gourmet, you know, food and you get the smoothies and the juices.
It'd be probably even less. I'm just saying worst case.
Yeah, worst case,
right?
50 bucks a day. So.
But the biggest thing, man, is make sure you have enough vendors to supply people, and make sure you have the quality of food, and like a good salad bar with different kind of raw dressings and things that people can just pick up by the plate and not have to buy pre-made little salads that are freaking small and dinky, because we eat big salads at every event I've been to.
Like Whole Foods.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so make sure you get enough vendors doing all that stuff, and it's important also to keep the vendors happy and have enough people for vendors, but not too many vendors, and blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
So just make sure you have all that worked out.
It's a year out.
Yeah, it's a year out. You got a lot of time, but I mean, that's the most, because this thing could totally flop bad.
Totally.
But it could totally be the best thing ever. You know, and then I'm going to be able to source my own food, go to the farmers markets, go to buy stuff here, and I don't really care, and I'll be cool because the food's not included, and I won't really care about the Brix because hopefully he's checked the people here, but yeah, it's not being included, so it's like, all right, if it's not included in the price, I get to pick my food, and I know what I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the best stuff, like you will, like everybody else here. They're going to do their best to pick the best stuff that they could get. Wow, that's really cool, man. I really like this new format. Hey, if somebody wants to like get on and buy your ticket early, because the earlier you buy your ticket for 2020 Canada Fruit Fest, the more money you'll save. I'll put my link down below, the OK Raw coupon code. You'll save a little bit when you sign up, and earlier you sign up, the more money you're going to save, as well as use my coupon. So anything further you'd like to add today, Ted?
No, that's it, man. Yeah. If you want to come to 2020, it's going to be freaking awesome. It's actually going to be called the Canada Vegan Festival.
Now, why is it going to be the Canada Vegan Festival? I don't know if I'm jiving with that so much, because then that's kind of like, but you're only going to serve raw food, even though it's a vegan event. Well, I'm going to call it the Canada Raw Food Festival.
Too many words.
Too many words.
And with this, we can just, it's F-R-U-I-T. Here we go, V-E-G-A-N. So we don't need to change the logo or anything. All we do is switch a few letters around.
All right.
And it's just there because A lot of people see Fruit Fest, they're like, Fruit Fest, what the, no. Even though they're vegan, they're like, I don't do too much fruit. So when they come to this event, it's all gonna be all vegan food, just so happens to be all raw.
Well, yeah, just I guess make sure people are aware of this, and also people that eat fruits and vegetables know that this is really a fruit and vegetable festival, and not necessarily a vegan festival with all these junk foods. So like really make that clear in the advertising so that they get what they expect when they come in. I can see how it can open new possibilities to get vegans here, because most of the people here are already into fruits and vegetables. But yeah, I totally agree with you that we need to basically get more vegans who are maybe eating processed foods, junk foods, eating this.
Dude, that's the thing. It's like you talk to 90% of these attendees, 90% of these attendees are not raw vegan.
Wow.
They're vegans striving to eat more fruits and vegetables.
Cool. So that's smart,
yeah, might as well just
market to them.
Yeah, we've already gotten so many emails, so many DMs, so many texts, phone calls even saying like, hey, is it okay if I come if I'm not 100% raw? We're like there's like 10% of the attendees coming that are 100% raw, if that.
I'm not 100%, I'm 99.
Yeah, there you go. So that's just what I want to say. You're definitely welcome to come, and every month that goes by, tickets prices do go up, so click the link in the description, use John's code, OKRAW, to get the best possible price, and we'll see you here at the Canada Vegan Fest for 2020.
All right, great. Yeah, once again, links down below, and I think what we're going to do up next is actually we're going to get some of the attendees here in this video to let you guys know if they thought the fruit quality was good through their own subjective taste buds, and then I'll be getting into testing the actual fruits and vegetables here at the 2019 Canada Fruit Fest. All right, so now we're here with Stormy, and we're going to ask her what she thought of the fruit quality, the food quality here at the Canada Fruit Fest. What do you think, Stormy?
It was really good. Everything was like super ripe and delicious and juicy. Way better than the fruit that I buy.
Wow. We're here with John, and John, how do you think about the food and the fruit quality here at the Canada Fruit Festival this year?
I was definitely pleased with the food quality. I've been eating a fruit-based diet for about 7 years. And I think one of the main things you have to keep in mind is knowing how to pick out quality produce. And when I come to a fruit festival, I'm not eating bananas, I'm not eating apples, I'm eating the stuff that's in season, I'm eating the stuff that's grown locally. And for us, this time of year in British Columbia, that's stone fruit. So we had a lot of peaches, a lot of nectarines, and there was variance in the peaches and nectarines. 4 minutes ago, I just had a peach outside that I threw away. I didn't like it. But I've had so many amazing peaches here at the festival, so you have to understand not all fruit's going to be off the charts all the time, but I've been very pleased with the nectarines. I actually think those exceed the peaches here, so really good nectarines. And then some of the tropical stuff, the mangoes were really good. I know Brix tested some of the mangoes.
Really good.
The mangoes were really good. I didn't eat the watermelon, but I loved the cantaloupe. I ate tons and tons of cantaloupe. So ate a lot of melons, stone fruit, and mangoes.
So now we're with Leon, and now he's going to answer the question, what did you think about the food quality, the fruit quality here at the Canada Fruit Festival?
I really liked it. Like for me, it was juicy. It was flavorful. I really liked it, and yeah, I was satisfied by it. It was a lot of variety, watermelons, nectarines, peaches, and to be honest, I haven't had that good fruit before, especially like living in Germany. It's not that good as here.
So the fruit here at the Canada Fruit Fest is better than stuff you get in Germany?
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Because it's grown locally here.
Yeah.
And I don't know where my fruit comes from, like when I buy like tropical fruit in Germany. So it probably went through a long way. So yeah, I really like it.
All right, cool. All right, so now I'm with Sati, and actually she's from Japan, all the way from Japan here at the Canada Fruit Festival. So Sati, what did you think of the fruit here that you ate at the event?
It's so great. It's all organic and local, and I ate tons of peaches and plums and nectarines, and all juicy and ripe, and best cantaloupe.
Best cantaloupe?
Best cantaloupe.
Oh, good.
So juicy. And peaches, organic peaches.
You like it a lot.
Yeah,
it had the juice everywhere.
Yes, juice everywhere.
So now with Dr. Sam, he's definitely really cool. I guess probably the upcoming episode I'll have Dr. Sam up in a video that I did with him. But Sam, what did you think of the fruit? Because I know you've been eating fruit for a long time, kind of like me, a fruit connoisseur. What do you honestly, seriously, think of the fruit here at Canada Fruit Fest?
I thought it was good. I mean, there was enough things here that kept me satiated, so I was satisfied. I mean, the dates were really good. Peaches were okay. The ones that were ripe were good. The problem was a lot of them weren't. So I just kind of stayed away from those. That's all. And I chose other foods.
Yeah, I mean, I like when they actually put out whole fruits, like boxes of fruits. You could actually pick through and pick the ripest ones you feel, which was good. Versus like they cut open melons and just basically put them out randomly, so you couldn't really decide like and see the outside of the melon to determine if it was really ripe or not before you pick. You just had to grab pre-cut pieces. All right, so now we're with Patrick. So Patrick, what do you think about the food quality, the fruit quality here at the Canada Fruit Fest this year?
Okay, just fruit.
Fruits and vegetables, whatever.
Fruits and vegetables.
You could separate. You could say the fruit was good, the vegetables were bad, both were good. I mean, whatever you think.
Okay, I love the fruits.
All right.
I had awesome yellow watermelons, like they were phenomenal. Organic, good stuff. Had some of the best cantaloupe here ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
At least taste-wise, super good. I thought the vegetables were really great too. Like considering, like compared to like grocery store, like the celery was really fresh. Like you can usually go to the store and get wilted organic romaine lettuce, but here it was.
Yeah, it was off. I agree with the freshness. Was definitely top on the freshness.
Yeah. Really enjoyed that. Tomatoes were awesome. I found.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I found the tomatoes actually be really good. Yeah, I didn't really have any. And the dates were amazing.
Yeah,
Lots
I mean
of
it's
fun.
hard to mess up dates.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but these dates were like especially good. Like I've heard many people just be like their favorite was Medjool, but then they tried the Mazzafati and they were like, oh my god.
And we don't even get those in the States normally.
Yeah.
That's kind of a treat. Those are the black ones, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those were good. I did try one. I don't eat a lot of dates.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Yeah, I wasn't really drawn to the peaches. I wasn't really drawn to the nectarines.
Because you tried them and you're like,
Yeah.
maybe because they maybe didn't taste so good and you wanted to eat something better, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I wasn't really drawn to those. We didn't really. I think we had like one meal option one day for like cherries.
Yeah.
I think it was like during noon or something.
Did you like those?
They were okay, but they weren't organic, so I just stopped eating them.
Yeah, they weren't organic, but actually they. Anyway, the Brix tested out real high, which you guys may see in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty good, but then the organic kind of threw me.
Yeah, of course. You know, I only like to eat organic myself.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm with Sonia. And Sonia, what did you think about the fruit here? If you want to segregate it out from vegetables and fruit, or just the food quality here in general, were you happy with it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Tell everybody what you thought.
Cool, yeah. The fruits were really amazing, and so were the greens. A lot of them were super fresh. I know, like, when I go to the grocery store, sometimes, you know, it's like wilted and things like that. But the greens were very fresh here. Cucumbers were a little bit dry, but I usually like them more, like, rich and
Yeah,
watery.
like a little bit fresher. Yeah, they had to buy them a little bit in advance, so they've kind of been hanging out a little bit.
Yeah, and then the fruits were really amazing. The cantaloupe was really good. The watermelons, I liked how there was variety with yellow ones. I don't get that often.
Yeah, I
in
love
the
yellows.
US.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the red ones were pretty good. The yellow ones I was attracted to more. And then the peaches were really good as well. The nectarines or plums I didn't really have. The dates were amazing, very wet and like juicy. Which usually you get like dates and they're
so
super
dry. Yeah.
And yeah, where there could be like some growth would be like with the cherries. Those I wasn't really called to as much.
Interesting.
What else? Yeah, and I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know. Considering like for when you go to buy fruit and what's available in today's day and age, it was like really good. You know, like I could tell it was
above
like,
average, you think, for fruit here compared to something you could buy in the States because you're from the States.
For sure, yeah. And like I could tell it was like consciously picked. Like it wasn't just like, you know, of course like people running the festival like picking it, you know, and sorting through as best as possible, I would imagine. But yeah, there's always areas for growth. Like maybe there's ways to reach out to farmers or work out some other deals. I don't know. But I was really happy with it, yeah.
All right, so now we're with Vlad, and he's originally from Russia, now living here in Canada. So Vlad, what did you think about the fruit quality and the food quality here at the Canada Fruit Festival?
Well, most of this was like very good quality, like what I tried, like way better when I could buy it from the store.
Better than what you buy at the store for people that can't understand the accent.
Well, I mean, the store, what I could buy, like, you know, in my
area.
yeah, it's like, I would say it's better quality for sure. And most of this was ripe.
Yeah.
And if you buy it from a store, it's just like, you know, a piece of rubber.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's not ripe. It bounces.
Yeah, and most of this is organic.
Yep, it was organic, absolutely.
So I'm kind of satisfied with quality.
All right, cool. So you're satisfied with the quality overall?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, great. Thanks.
That's why I would like to come next year for sure.
All right, so you guys heard from Ted Carr, the person that puts this together. We interviewed him. Then you got to hear from some of the attendees and actually their experience and their opinions on the fruit, which is once again subjective. What I want to do now is get objective on you guys and actually pull out the Brix meter, and we're going to go ahead and test some of the food here at the Canada Fruit Festival, see what the Brix meter thinks, right? The Brix meter doesn't lie, it basically just refracts the light and it shows what it is, and I compare it to what the chart is, and I tell you guys if it's, you know, poor, average, good, or excellent. You know, I strive to eat excellent food, but once again, if you're just buying things from the market, right, you're gonna get whatever. You know, I like to think that they did source, you know, and go through sources where they got good food last year, so it should be good food this year. But let's go ahead and really find out what happened here subjectively, or objectively, which is different than subjectively. And once again, you know, pretty much everybody here pretty much enjoyed the fruit. You know, if you're more of a connoisseur, you would know the things that weren't so good, and you would just not eat those because you had many different choices to eat here. All right, so now we're gonna test the food quality, or the fruit quality here at the Canada Fruit Festival. And I brought my Brix meter today, and I definitely had some challenges with other fruit festivals in the past where I tested their stuff, made a video about it, and then I was no longer a speaker at that event and no longer got reimbursement for money that I was promised, which was basically breaking a verbal contract, which I didn't personally feel good about. I would encourage you guys to support fruit festivals that, you know, don't literally cancel their contract with me because I'm testing their fruit and showing it, because, you know, we need full transparency in life, in the government, and especially in the movement, to know what's up. And I would hope that people would take my testing, you know, that I'm not making up, you know, as something that they could improve on if it's not good enough. And maybe I'll even meet with Ted or somebody that's in charge of the fruit here and suggest ways they could actually improve. And I have done that with other festivals in the past. So let's check out what you could have eaten and the quality. All right, so this morning looks like they have out maybe some watermelons. I think those are all gone. Nectarines, actually organic nectarines for sure, and I've been eating those mostly. And then they have bananas, organic from Ecuador. They have organic peaches. Also, they have unlimited dates today, and cantaloupes. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to show you guys actually what I'm using today and actually how I'm testing the fruit, right? The easiest way to test the fruit is not with any kind of meter, and these meters are only actually $20, and I would encourage every fruit festival to own multiple meters so they could test the food before they buy it and invest in like cases and cases of fruit. You know, this alone could save fruit festivals from having inferior quality fruit, and it's providing their attendees, which they should feel partly responsible for, you know, especially if food is being included in the admission price, which some fruit festivals can get quite expensive, you know, a better quality product by just taking the care to know the quality of the food and to reject and not accept food of, you know, poor quality, in my opinion. You know, I got into eating raw fruit and vegetable based diet because of my health, and so nutrition is paramount for me. And I know some people get into raw foods for the animals, you know, for better athletic performance, and maybe, you know, having sweet fruit and more nutritious food is not that important to them. Our taste buds are our best testers. The challenge I have is that many people don't have refined taste buds. What do I mean by that? I mean, they don't have a good sense of what is a good fruit or a bad fruit. If you've only ever eaten peaches from the organic health food store, even though they're organic, right, in my opinion, you've never had the best peaches in the world, because peaches especially have to be picked far too early, you know, to be shipped properly before they would go mushy and go bad. And so you'll never get a truly ripe peach. I mean, literally, to get a truly ripe peach, you got to be on the tree, like I'm actually going to in 15 minutes to a farm tour, and I'll be taken here, and we're probably going to get some of the ripest fruit that actually is not even at this event. But yeah, so you don't have like basically a basis of like, this is a really good one and that's not a good one. People just think what they eat from the store is really good, and in my opinion it's not. And I am a fruit snob. Maybe you will want to call me the fruit police. I don't know. Wait, isn't there some vegetable police already? But anyways, this is called a Brix meter. And what the Brix meter does, it measures, and people just think the Brix is about sugar, which yes, it does measure sugar, but I'll read you the explanation. Within a given species of plant, the crop with a higher refractive index, or Brix, will have a higher sugar content, higher mineral content, higher protein content, and greater specific gravity or density. This adds up to a sweeter tasting, more minerally nutritious food with lower nitrate and water content, lower freezing point, and better storage attributes. So this just all around is really good. And how this works is, you can see this chart here. There'll be the fruit or the vegetable, and they'll have like a couple columns, you know, poor, average, good, or excellent. And you know, if the number comes up a certain number, it means it's, you know, poor, good, average, or excellent, right? There are certain farming practices that are very important to increase the Brix. You know, one of which is having the proper ratio of minerals. One of which is having, you know, trace minerals in the soil. Most farmers may only focus on 3 minerals, maybe up to 16. In my personal garden, I put 70 to 90 different trace minerals in my soil to get those in my plants to grow higher quality food. In addition, you know, the soil microbiology, beneficial microbes, fungi, bacteria, earthworms, the whole food soil web play an integral part to making a more nutritious food. And this is something that most farmers, unfortunately, do not pay attention to with the current agribusiness farming practices. So that's why it's so important. I'm such a big advocate of growing your own. All right. Now, why does the Brix makes the difference, right? Well, that's because if we just turn this to the back, you guys can see this chart here. You know, there's garden beans here, and there's grocery store beans, right? And you can see the Brix was 4.2. 6.1. All right, so that's only 2 points higher, but what does that mean? That means the taste on the grocery store beans were garbage, and I say a lot of things are garbage on produce in commerce. And then the taste on these garden beans, not even grown under ideal conditions, are decent. And why does that matter? Yeah, so taste is important to us. This might get kids, say like kale tasted really good to kids and it was actually sweet, like some of the people experienced today. Like I had 2 guys hanging out with me the first day. We went to a farm and they just didn't think greens were that good. They weren't so super desirable right off the plant, like you would just go to a fruit orchard and just want fruit off the tree or whatever because it's so sweet. But greens could also be really delicious and tantalizing, and when I took them to the farm, they got to pick fresh greens from really high quality soil. They were really impressed on like how delicious it was. You know, maybe it's still not good as fruit, but you know, it was super delicious, super desirable, and you could actually make a meal out of it and eat it because it was actually quite enjoyable. I saw them going back to the kale plant, you know, at the farm several times. But anyways, why that's important is the bottom here. You could see this little graph. So this graph has 2 bars on it. One is like the garden beans and one is the grocery store beans. And you can see like they did mineral content analysis, and the mineral content on some of the ones that are the garden, you know, beans were, you know, twice or maybe 3 times as high depending on the nutrients. So the phosphorus was over twice as high, the potassium was maybe 3 times as high, the copper was maybe at least 3 times as high, the iron was almost double, the zinc was definitely over double, maybe 2.5 times, the magnesium was more, the calcium was almost double actually, and then the protein content was also almost double. So even given the same fruit, you could have twice as much protein in a good quality fruit or vegetable than a bad quality one. And you know, why is this important? Well, all these things are nutrients for us, especially the trace minerals that are devoid in most, you know, or a lot of devoid in standard agricultural practices. And then when you're buying conventional produce and they're just using, you know, synthetic fertilizer, or I call it synthetic fertilizer, but fertilizer made by man, they're only focusing on certain nutrients. You know, the produce is only going to absorb what's in the soil, and if you're putting synthetic nutrients in unnatural ratios, you're going to get food out with unnatural, you know, nutrient profiles of minerals, unnatural balance of minerals, sorry. You know, in my opinion and based on some of the research I've seen, all right? So So that's how this works. Let's go ahead and test these produce items. What we got is we got some standard red watermelon, some cantaloupe, nectarine, peach, and yellow watermelon. And there's a couple different varieties of peaches and nectarines here. I don't know which ones they put out today. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the Brix meter and we're going to go ahead and, yeah, so the complaint I have is there's a lot of wasps here actually. I need to put out some wasp traps. And all you do is you basically squeeze some of the juice off the fruit, put it on the little lens there, and no seeds. Then we're going to close this little lens. And then you're going to basically you're going to look into that end, which you guys probably can't see on the camera. Oh, you guys can see it a little bit. And there's a little graph in there. And so if we look on the graph, there's a point where it's all white, and then it transfers to all being like blue. And that at that point is where you could read it, and that's at 10, 11, 12. So that's at 12. And right at the demarcation line, instead of being cut and dry, like all white, all blue, you want it kind of fuzzy. That would indicate a higher presence of minerals. This is maybe a tad bit fuzzy, but not super. And so this would be a 12 for the watermelon. So then we're going to go to our chart and go down the chart to find watermelon. And watermelons, all right, so poor watermelons are 8. Average watermelons are 12. So these are average watermelons. I would hope at a fruit festival they would at least have minimal standards to have good watermelons, to at least be able to call them good. And good would be 14, and excellent watermelons would be 16. All right, so that's the red. And then what you have to do is you have to clean out the lens, so it's better to have the towel or something. All right, so next we're gonna go ahead and try the yellow watermelon. I think the yellow is probably a bit better. Let's see, we can't test the wasps on there. They're not coming off, man. All right, so we got some juice. Close that up, and let's take a look what we got. All right, yeah, that one also reading at a tad a bit above 12, so that's also an average watermelon according to my Brix tester. All right. So, do you guys want to be average or above average? All right, next, let's try the cantaloupe. Maybe this is sweeter, and we'll see what I'm eating later, because, I like to, well, our taste buds, we'll know, like, if I ate some of these, I'll be like, the cantaloupe's good, or this is not good, or whatever, and just squeeze off some juice. And take a look. Oh, wow, man, cantaloupe is 5, 6, 7. So 7 on cantaloupe is cantaloupe. 8 is poor. This is a 7. Average is 12, good is 14, excellent is 16. So this is not really super good fruit, in my opinion, and according to the Brix tester. And what I want to say is that, farmers are not paid to produce high quality food. And that's just the facts and the reality of it, right? Farmers get paid on poundage. The system is set up so that farmers can make a profit, and they care about shelf life so that they don't lose their profit. And they don't really, their main focus isn't like, I want to grow the highest quality nutritious crops and provide that to people so I can get people healthier. They're just trying to make a buck. There's, select farmers that maybe grow nutrient-dense foods or high Brix foods, and if you see that at a farmer's stand advertising at a farmer's market, then by all means support him, because he kind of knows what's up. But for the most part, this is a food industry and food production problem. But as consumers, we have the choice whether we want to buy something or not. You have the choice. If you guys want to go support McDonald's and choose what they're selling, and even as fruit eaters, as vegetable eaters, we have the choice to buy, fruits from certain vendors, from certain farms, or, like I encourage everybody to do, to grow your own. That is truly the way to have the best, highest quality food. All right, so yeah, so far melons, not so good, not looking good here. Let's go ahead and test out the peaches and the nectarines. All right, so testing the peach next. Just we're gonna ding a hole in it and get some juice out. Look at that, I can juice a peach with my bare hands. All right, so looking into this. So they do have digital refractometers that are like more expensive, like around $100. I'll put a link down below to a refractometer. It's a 0 to 32 Brix refractometer, $20. I would encourage you guys to get one. This peach is about like the other ones that I've tested at this event so far. This one's a 9. Which, at least it's an organic peach. Does organic mean it's gonna have higher Brix? Not necessarily, actually. So a peach, if it's poor, it's 6, if it's average, it's 10, if it's good, it's 14, and if it's excellent, it's 18. So this is not even considered a good peach. It's actually right below average. I don't like eating an average fruit, of course. I try to do my best to get at least good or, you know, excellent fruits, or even above excellent. I did check the cherries, which they don't have out today, which unfortunately are non-organic this year. They were organic last year. And the cherries, I think, tested at like, let's see, like 20. And on cherries, it's like cherries are 6 poor, 8 average, 14 good, 16 excellent. So their cherries here at Canada Fruit Fest was above excellent. And that's the kind of food that really lights you up, makes your taste buds dance, and in my opinion, makes you more happy because it's just more nutritious and more fulfilling in the end. And this is what I want for all you guys, right? This is why I make these videos, not to say like, oh, don't come to Canada because they got crappy fruit. My goal with this video is to, you know, sit down with Ted and say, hey Ted, man, you had some challenges with the fruit quality. Let's kind of refine and make better how you're purchasing the fruit so that this does not happen again. And whether he does it or not is not up to me, it's up to him. And hopefully he'll take my constructive criticisms and actually the truth. And I'm glad to give him my Brix meter and he can test this stuff, see the chart, and learn for himself, all right? So last, we're checking the nectarines. Let's go ahead and pop a hole in that and juice it as if I was Michael Velocity. Wow, look at all that juice come out, all right? And close that up, and let's take a look here. All right, so the nectarine, that is 11, so 2 points higher than the peach. So if you have the choice here between peaches and nectarines, and that's why I'm eating the nectarines. I think the nectarine I tested yesterday was like 14. On here, there are no nectarines on my chart, so then you're going to use the closest fruit to that, which would be peaches. So peaches, if it's poor, it's 6. If it's average, it's 10. If it's good, it's 14. If it's excellent, it's 18. These were 11, so these are a tad bit above average. And I mean, I personally don't like being average, but you got to eat something. So that's what I ate yesterday because that was like the best that I found, and I'm not going to eat the organic cherries. Now I have a special treat for you guys. We're going to go ahead and walk into the kitchen. I'm going to show you guys actually if they're serving organic food here, because that's very important to me, you know, generally, but not always. Organic food can be healthier. But just because it's organic doesn't mean you're going to have higher Brix than conventional food, because Brix is totally separate from organic, because organic is just a practice. If they're spraying pesticides or what pesticides they can and cannot spray, what fertilizers they can and cannot use, it doesn't mean that they're going to actually use good fertilizers and or pick the fruit more ripe, which are 2 big factors in Brix. Anyways, this is the side of the kitchen, and you can see all the boxes they have here. And let's see, it's pretty clear to me that they got organic stuff. It has the organic symbol on there. It's from Taylor Farms, Dan Taylor. And let's see here, they got peaches here that I tested yesterday. These look like to be similar to the ones I bought. Maybe they weren't of the best quality. Over here they have some plums. So let's go ahead and check the plums on the Brix meter. And this plum seems pretty soft to me. So we're just gonna go ahead and pierce this, and I'll try a little bit. Our tongue should be our best Brix meters. That fruit doesn't taste like super sweet to me, although it has a nice, fairly good ripeness, softness, and good flavor, but not excellent. So let's see what the Brix meter says. So we just basically squeeze some juice out on there. We close that, and we're gonna take a look. And so on the Brix meter, this is a 14 for this plum, which is definitely higher than the peaches you guys saw earlier. All right, so on my chart here, plums. There is no category for plums, so then if there is no category for plums, then we're going to go ahead and go to the closest fruit, which I would say is just like a peach or nectarine. So peaches for 14 is good. So the plums definitely were good. They're about equivalent to the nectarines I tested, you know, which are both considered good according to this chart, although not according to people, as you guys saw a little bit earlier. And actually, let's go in the kitchen to see what other organic foods they're selling or providing here, and if they are organic, and their Brix levels. All right, so this is the kitchen, and just normal attendees are not allowed in the kitchen, only if you're a volunteer, so don't just be trying to come into the kitchen. Here's some of the boxes of food. So this is like romaine lettuce they have here. It's organic, so that's definitely good. It's all local. You know, food in Canada, I will say, I did go to the farmer's market this morning, and food in Canada is definitely more expensive than in the States. But also, we do have a favorable, if you're from the States, you have a favorable exchange rate, so your dollar goes further. So the lettuce, I will say, you know, I ate the lettuce here, and it's solid lettuce. I've had worse, I've had better. I don't know if we'll be able to test the lettuce. Let's go ahead and try to pull off like a outside kind of dirty leaf. Testing lettuce is actually rather difficult. So let's see. So what you got to do for the lettuce is we're just going to try to get some juice out of it. So it would be helpful if I had a juicer. But we're just going to go ahead and break that off, and I'm just going to try to squeeze some juice out. I don't know if I'll be successful, which I'm not successful. I would need a proper juicer to kind of try to get juice off. There's a little bit of water content like on the lettuce. It's a bit moist, so I don't want to test water. So with what I have, I'm not able to test the lettuce, but basically just telling you by what I'm eating the lettuce like every night for the last 3 nights. It's good solid lettuce. I'd say at least it's at least good. It's definitely not poor lettuce like some of the fruit. Let's see what else organic they are serving here. All right, so some more produce. They have like lettuce, and actually the cool thing is if you come, bring some extra cash, because when you're leaving, if you drove here, you can actually, you know, they'll sell extra cases of food at the end, and they were selling it for a really good price. I wish I lived here because I would have already bought some. Let's see, they also had like basically green onions and cilantro every day for the salad at night, which was optional because it's kind of like salad bar style. And straight up, this is organic. And the cilantro, once again, I would need to juice it to test it. But to me, the cilantro was good and solid, really nice, Canada grown, local. The tomatoes, they're local, British Columbia grown. Tomatoes are relatively easy to check. I will say just by eating the tomatoes here, I mean, there are decent tomatoes. I tasted better, I've tasted worse. But let's go ahead and see what the Brix meter says. All right, so just gonna go ahead and put a little hole in the tomato and squeeze some juice out here. And make sure we get no seeds. And let's take a look here.
Are you putting a bunch of eggs?
So the tomatoes are a 6. You're like, John, 6, that's bad. Well, here's the thing, like on the chart, right, every different fruit or vegetable has a different range, so you always want to refer to the chart. I'll put a link to the chart down below if you guys want to download it yourself. Brix meters are about $20 on Amazon. I'll put a link down below to one I have bought in the past that I feel is pretty good. And it's very important to zero out your Brix meter with distilled water to make sure that you're going to get the correct readings. So tomatoes on here, let's see, 4 is poor, 6 is average, 8 is good, 12 is excellent, and what was this one here? This one was like 6. So 6 for tomatoes is actually an average tomato. So how can the produce quality improve here? Oh, let's go ahead and check some more fruit. I think we got some mangoes that they also served in dressings. All right, so next let's take a look at some more produce. So here's the organic celery. Actually, it has the organic sticker from California actually. And the celery, once again, I don't think I could Brix test this because you got to get some juice. No, I could probably juice celery with my hands. So let's go ahead and try to do that here for you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and juice some celery. Shouldn't be too hard. I should be able to do this because usually celery is pretty watery. Squeeze the water out. There's 1 drop. 2 drops. All right, I think we need like 3 drops. 4 drops. 1 more drop. Squeeze. All right, this would be a pain to juice celery this way, and you wouldn't get a lot. All right, but we got enough for the Brix meter. So the celery, if we look at it, it's like 4. All right, celery's 4. That's super low. It's not good. Well, celery has a different range and everything else. So let's take a look at what celery is today. So on our chart, celery, a 4, poor celery. And I haven't actually eaten the celery because normally I actually like to juice celery, but this is considered poor celery from California. And you know, actually next let's go ahead and check the mangoes. So should you not come to the Canada Fruit Festival because the celery is poor, some of their fruits were maybe not so good? You know, that is up to you. You know, what I hope in the future is that they improve the quality of the produce that they're serving here. And actually, as you guys heard earlier, next year actually the food is not included, which I think is definitely a good thing because now you get to source your own food from, you know, vendors that are going to be here at the Canada Fruit Fest. And you can choose the better quality things if that is important to you. Now, you know, this is advanced subject topics. I've been doing this now for nearly 25 years. And I really like to try to optimize what I'm doing in my life, and I don't always personally even eat the excellent food myself. You know, I get what is available at the grocery store, you know, at the health food store, at the produce terminal, and I bought a box of celery, you know, for $18 for 30 heads, organic, just a couple weeks ago in LA at the wholesale produce terminal. And I didn't check before I bought it because I want to eat celery. Regardless of what it is, I would hope that growers would provide good quality food, at least minimally. but that doesn't always happen. So I do encourage you guys to grow your own food, and that's why I'm a big advocate of growing your own. Anyways, let's go ahead and check the mangoes here. The mangoes are organic, which is good, and they didn't basically serve mangoes because they didn't have enough to serve as a fruit for everybody. But what they did do is they did use these in the dressings, actually pretty much on every night actually. So let's go ahead and check these. I will give you a forewarning that I did check some of these guys earlier, and actually they were above excellent. One of them I tested was 16. I think the other one was like 22 or something, so that's like insanely high. And you know, every different fruit, even out of the same box, could vary just a little bit, and that's totally normal. Usually I find the variances are within a few points. So, I don't know, for mango juice, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and bust this a little bit with my fingernail, and these mangoes are so juicy, I don't really have to even cut it. I can just squeeze the juice out. And let's check the Brix here. Oh my God, this mango is reading out at 21, no joke. This is probably the best fruit, actually aside from the cherries that I've tested here. 21 on a mango. Let's take a look at the chart here. Mango, poor mangoes are 4, not poor. 6 is average, 10 is good, and 14 is excellent. So what did I say this was? This is 21. Oh my God, all I want to do is eat mangoes here because they're the highest quality food. Once again, why is this important? Why does this matter? Because Brix is correlated with nutrition, right? A higher Brix crop is going to have more, basically more minerals in it, and also more protein content. Also, it's going to be a much more enjoyable experience for you personally when you're eating it. You know, sweeter fruit with more minerals can have more flavor depth besides just the sweetness, which is just good for us. And you know, I don't want to like sit down and chunk and eat down like 5 good or average mangoes according to my Brix test, because simply I'm not going to enjoy them. Whereas if you have excellent mangoes, maybe that's why everybody loved the salad dressings here, which they basically made with like tahini and mangoes and added things like hemp seeds and blueberries into there. Super delicious every night because the quality of these mangoes are super good, right? And did this happen? This basically happened by chance because they didn't Brix test any of the food before they bought it, which I think they should be doing. You might want to do, I don't always do myself. You're just relying on the producer that's producing the food to grow high quality stuff, which we cannot do because the food system is set up to basically grow for profit, not for nutrition. So look at this mango in here. I can see some of it's a little bit kind of like getting fermented here. Actually quite soft. We're gonna go ahead and cut that open, and I'm gonna go ahead and try some on the camera here. Yeah. Part of it a little bit fermented, like maybe overripe. But yeah, this is super delicious nonetheless. All right, so I'm still hanging out in the kitchen eating the most excellent mangoes that I've had in Canada. And we got my buddy Chris Kendall here.
What's up, guys?
What's your channel, Chris?
TheRawAdvantage.com, The Raw Advantage on Instagram, The Raw Advantage on YouTube, The Raw Advantage on LinkedIn, The Raw Advantage on Twitter, The Raw Advantage. It's everywhere.
He's the banana commander. He loves his bananas, but today he's eating cantaloupe.
Yes.
Cantaloupe, in my opinion, a little bit more nutritious than bananas. Chris, so I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, I like these.
Okay, so is that a good cantaloupe or not to you?
Yes, I think this is a pretty damn delicious cantaloupe. I wouldn't say it's the best I've ever had, but it's definitely above average. I'd put it in probably like 75 percentile of what I've typically had, and I'm very happy and smiling while I eat this.
And that, I mean, in the end, I guess that is what counts for most people. I'm kind of like more, I don't know, maybe anal about optimization, and I want to get the most minerals, and that's why I like higher Brix contents. But we're all different. Maybe Brix to you, this doesn't even matter, and as long as you enjoy your fruits, that's what you're going to go with. And you know, I appreciate that, but I have a message because this is something that is not talked about. This is, I consider this extra credit. Once again, I've been doing this for nearly 25 years on this path, on this diet, always trying to improve, optimize, and improve my diet. And this is one of the ways that has helped me, and maybe it could help you if you care.
Sourcing the best quality stuff possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not rocket science. So okay, so Chris, cantaloupe, a poor cantaloupe is 8.
Yep.
An average is 12, a good is 14, and an excellent is 16. So what say you?
I'm betting it's at least a 14, maybe even a 15. To some people, I think this would be an absolute excellent cantaloupe compared to the general stuff you get at normal grocery stores.
Yeah, it's Canadian grown.
It's all your point. It's all your point of reference, right?
It is. It's your point of reference. Some people have only ever had grocery store and like shit cantaloupe. Sometimes at the grocery store they can be decent.
Yeah.
But I've never had like the super best ones that are like I've had is from the farmer's market.
Yeah, well, that's why some people don't
Or-
like fruit, because
yeah.
they've just had general grocery store shit.
Right.
And you still can get to a grocery store and get pretty damn amazing
Sometimes,
quality stuff
yes.
at the general grocery store. But you know,
And you have to pick good ones, and obviously you pick this one to eat
Oh,
yourself.
yeah.
You didn't
I-
just randomly freaking scoop one like I have been testing a little bit earlier in the festival.
I'm a fruit connoisseur, man. I go to the grocery store and my hand goes immediately to the best one. Like the eye, the hand, the smell.
Yep, yep,
all of it,
everything,
you
dude.
start to sense it, right? And,
Yeah.
I mean, if a piece of fruit, whatever fruit is, if you don't know if you like it and you think like, oh, I don't know if I like that fruit, you haven't had a good one, because any
Yep.
fruit when it's top quality will make your face orgasm. You'll be like, oh,
Straight up.
like, it's that good.
Yeah, cool. All right, man. Let's see what the. So you said it's at least 14.
Yeah, I'd say it's at least a 14.
So is Chris Kendall the human Brix meter? Do you even need to buy one of these? Well, our taste buds are our best Brix meters, but what this is kind of like if you like analytical, like pragmatic stuff like me. Uh-oh, man. Okay, so what's happening
Did you
is
put it on there yet?
I didn't get a good sample, or there's nothing on here.
No, yeah, we didn't get a good sample. All right.
I'm like, there's no reading.
Should I baby bird it up? No,
No spit, man. Don't contaminate my Brix meter. All right, so we got a lot of juice. We don't want any pulp.
There we go.
And we're gonna go ahead and put this baby down. We got it nice and covered. All right, so it's basically, man. So I did have a cantaloupe the other day, and I picked a good one like Chris did. It was I think around 14. So this one is at 10, 11, 12, 13 solid with actually fuzz.
Yeah.
The fuzz in there means a higher mineral content, so that's a good thing. So would you say 13? Do you concur?
Yeah, I concur. It's a 13, and I feel pretty good about that.
All right, so that's pretty much the end of this video, and I really kind of want to sum this up for you guys, right? You know, I'm not here to criticize fruit festivals, number one. I don't want to be kicked out of more fruit festivals than I already have been. And technically I haven't been kicked out, I've been kicked out of speaking at fruit festivals, though I can't attend them. But anyways, here's the thing, you know, the thing is there's a problem in the food system, right? And the food system is a big problem because farmers are being paid by profit and they're not being paid on nutrition quality that they're growing. So, you know, they don't have an incentive to grow high quality food. So if you just go down to the local store and buy things, at least they're all like, especially at the store when they're picked way early, they're really rock hard and not gonna taste good. I mean, I definitely would agree that the majority of the stone fruits here, even though if they didn't test out the highest, they're at least ripe and soft and juicy when you bit into them, right? And as you guys heard, most people liked some of the stone fruits, especially the nectarines. Some of the peaches, as you guys heard, some people didn't like the peaches so much, and you know, warranted. That was definitely a lower Brix for whatever reason, the weather conditions, whatever this year. You know, and you also heard about some of my personal recommendations to Ted so that he can improve the quality, because he's all about improving, making this festival the best festival in North America that he possibly can. I really appreciate that about Ted. And you know, I'm here, this video is only to help, right? Only to help. You guys, people had a great time here. You know, they were happy with the fruit quality. If I'm gonna say it's not as good, you know, I'm doing that because I want to improve. Once again, this is like going on my 25th year of eating this style diet, and I'm constantly trying to improve what I'm doing and also share what I've learned. And that's so important for my life's work, my mission. I want you guys to have the most information so that you don't have to go through the school of hard knocks, right? And once again, you know, I haven't been doing this 1 or 2 years. I've been doing this 24 years now, 25 years next year, and I want things to improve. I want people to be aware of this Brix meter testing, how it can improve significantly the minerals you get, because foods are depleted from minerals. In my opinion, the solution to mineral depletion is selecting higher quality food, growing higher quality food, not necessarily like some kind of barley grass to get your minerals. We should be really getting our minerals from a variety of foods. Eat a variety of food. And I'm only here to help Ted out and, you know, make the food quality here better so people even have a better time, and they could just be like, I want everybody to answer the question like, I was blown away by the fruit here. Until that, I'm not going to be satisfied personally, right? Even if they thought it was good, oh yeah, and better quality than what they could get, I want to even go exceeding that, and I'm sure Ted would agree with me. He wants everybody's, you know, experience to be the best as possible here at the Canada Fruit Festival, and hopefully next year, you know, I'm going to even buy him a Brix meter if he wants me to do that, so he can to test and vet the fruits that are being sold, you know, make sure the vendors selling are going to be at least of a certain quality level so that everybody here can have the best experience and best fruit possible, plus with the changes he's implementing with, you know, buy your own fruits. I'm not so much concerned about the fruit quality because it's not something included in the price. People have to buy that themselves, and they could have a better selection of choosing the vendors here that sell the best stuff that meet their personal needs. So next year, I'm definitely not even going to check the Brix quality, which is going to be good for me because I don't really like doing this. I don't like getting kicked out, and I don't like being called the bad guy. I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I'm just trying to spread awareness about the Brix and all this stuff. I have other videos. I'll post a couple links down below on the Brix quality if you guys want to learn about it. And I would encourage you guys, you know, unless you're like Chris Kendall, who was able to pick the Brix out pretty much almost exactly, or me, who's been doing this a long time, and we are human Brix meters. I want you guys to become human Brix meters, but the problem is, you know, if you've never had really good quality fruit, and if you don't correlate Brix with quality, then you're never going to know, you know, if it's truly good, because most things, unfortunately, in the standard agriculture system are not, and it's an agriculture system problem and a food sourcing problem when you don't take personal responsibility. Like, once again, if you go to the store and buy cantaloupes, you don't just grab the first cantaloupe. You go through the whole freaking display and find the ripest one, and that's the one you're going to buy. You're not going to spend your hard-earned cash on other things, and that's all I ask for out of fruit festivals, is that they pay a little bit of due diligence to check the fruit quality before they buy a truckload of it to serve at a fruit festival, instead of just calling up the organic distributor and saying, we need 30 cases of peaches, and they send you whatever. You know, and I know better than to do that, because when I do that at a fruit seller, you know, even when I buy wholesale, sometimes they don't give me good stuff, and that's why when I go to wholesale markets, I hand pick every freaking case. Sometimes I'll go through 20 cases to find the best case out of all 20, and sometimes I'll flip a couple mangoes out of one case into one case so I can get the best ones in that one case, because I want to eat the best quality, the best tasting stuff that's going to keep me more likely to stay on the diet and just put a bigger smile on my face. And I want you guys all to have smiles on your face. So that's pretty much the end of this video. You know, once again, I highly encourage you guys to come to the 2020 Canada Fruit Festival. It's going to be the best festival ever, best fruit festival ever in the entire world. Lowest possible price, because you just have to bring some extra cash and then buy whatever food you want. Or like me, come a day or two earlier. Go to the Wednesday Kelowna Farmers Market. Come to the Thursday Farmers Market in Vernon. You're probably going to see me there. Just come with me. John, what's the best fruit here? Because trust me, at a farmer's market, I will know what the best fruit is, and I'm going to tell you guys. And then just buy that stuff, bring it to the festival, party, have a good time, and just have fun with life, right? That's pretty much it I got for this video. Yeah, once again, link is down below. Use the coupon code OKROD to get the best deal. Sign up and buy your tickets early for the 2020 Canada Fruit Festival. I hope to see you guys there. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, all about the Brix, all about learning about the quality and all this stuff, hey, thumbs this up. I know some people will thumbs me down because they hate when I test fruit quality and all this stuff. They think I'm trying to cause controversy. I'm just trying to create awareness and bring up the whole level of fruit culture everywhere. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new upcoming episodes. I'm coming out every 5 to 7 days in order to workshop or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And to make sure to click the bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. Finally, be sure to check my past episodes, including my episode. I will link down below to my last year's Canada Fruit Festival review if you want to see how this fruit festival works. And it only is getting better every year because Ted is open to suggestions and takes those and hopefully will implement them, the ones that at least the majority of the people want. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKROD.com. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables and try to make them high Brix as possible for the best time ever.